Literally, why is this so blue? I feel like it's never looked that blue before. Hold on. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna do it without the lighting.
Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months.
Also, yeah, today we're sitting on the floor because that's just what works best for us today. That's what we're gonna do. Hi fam, welcome back to Living with Lee. If you're new here, hi, welcome. We love having you, and if you are a returner, then of course we are so happy to have you back again. Now today I'm gonna be doing something a little different, but something that I want to start implementing into my videos, and that is reading based content. So like monthly wrap-ups, monthly TBRs, like different stuff like that. I've talked about it in a few videos like here and there, but I really love reading, loved it a lot growing up, but as I got older I ran out of free time and reading for enjoyment became a lot more difficult and a lot more of a chore rather than something that I enjoyed. So 2022 I attempted to get back into it and make it something that I prioritized, and while it was a good starting point, it wasn't where I wanted it to be. I think I told y'all last video, I want to read 60 books or 12. Listen, okay, everyone has to start somewhere, and now that I was kind of able to be like, all right, that was kind of like my year to jumpstart, get back into reading pretty frequently. Now I'm serious. I'm hitting that 60 book goal this year. I'm not playing any games. I started January off a little slow, but listen, bear with me. I'm gonna get the 60 books by force or by fire, okay? That little tangent's over. For this video, I just want to do a January reading wrap-up and briefly go over the books that I read this month, how long it took for me to read them, how much I like them, just general views, you know, giving you guys a little bit of insight into my personal opinions on these books. So I read 3 books. I read 2 memoirs and 1 novel. For the first 2 books that I'm gonna show, I'm just gonna insert pictures because after I finished them, I already gave them to people I know so that they could also read them, because it's very weird. So I like having my own copies of books because I like to write in them. I just like being able to put them on my bookshelf and stuff. But then in the same sense, I'm the first person to be like, you wanna read this book? I have it, here, borrow it, take a copy. But I also, it's weird, I don't know, really weird relationship, but that's not the point. Let's just jump into the books. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna put the title up right here. The first book that I read this month was Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. This book, I came out of the gates kicking. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars when I reviewed it for my Instagram. Will I regret it? No, I don't think so. I really don't think I'm gonna change that rating throughout the year. So basically, it's about these 2 siblings, Byron, who's the older brother, and Benny, who is the younger sister. After a few years of being estranged and not talking to one another, they learn that their mother has passed away. After learning this information, they rejoin and find out that their mother has left them like a series of voice recordings that they have to listen to with the lawyer that she hired. And the book kind of goes back and forth between them listening to these tapes, rejoining as siblings, listening to their mom's story, going into the past and jumping past present. And the time jumps worked really well. I believe in books, like a time jump can really be messed up very easily because it's so quick for readers to get lost between the time zones, and if it's not done correctly, it can become really confusing and make someone stop reading the book completely if it's harder to follow. But this was not a problem in this book at all. It gave just enough mystery without it really being like this is classified as a mystery novel. The central themes really go around family, the idea of growth, shedding old parts of your life and blossoming into new chapters as well. In terms of the family theme, it really showed an interesting side. I think it really proves a point of no matter how close you are with your family, there are things that they go through or have gone through that you really don't know about, or that you simply don't understand the effect that it's had on them. So it's something to always keep in mind and something to consider, and that kind of put that into perspective for me, realizing the range of things that these characters go through that their family members never knew about. But yeah, like I said, 5 out of 5 stars, written by a Black author, so of course, you know, automatically gonna recommend it. And it was a good start to the month. Second book that I read this month was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. If you guys don't know what this book is, have you been living under a rock? But for real, so okay, just in case you don't know, Jeanette McCurdy is from the Nickelodeon show iCarly that starred Miranda Cosgrove. And this book is a memoir written by Jeanette, talking about how she started in the childhood acting industry, the relationship she had with all of her family members, but most specifically focusing on the relationship with her mom and how that completely skewed, changed, and like affected all of her relationships with people, entertainment, environments, like, and I hit myself, in the future. It was really, really insightful. I do want to give a trigger warning for these things I'm putting on the screen right now, so if you are sensitive to these topics, I would definitely try to be in a better headspace before reading this book. But one thing I will say that Jeanette does really well, and that I did commend her for, was that while these topics are heavy, the way in which she wrote made it a lot easier to digest and a lot easier to read. Okay, my camera quite literally died on me, so we're just gonna ignore that weird pause. It's not her job to try to make her life story or the experience that she made more digestible to people, because her experiences are her experiences, period. But just the way that she wrote it, like, it definitely helped. And I could see it helping readers who may be more sensitive to reading about those types of scenarios and those types of situations. Yeah, honestly, I commend her for her vulnerability, for speaking her truth while also staying true to herself. Her personality, I felt like, really showed through her writing, and she was really able to, it really felt like I was in those situations, like watching them from third person perspective as I was reading the situations. Like, it was really crazy, especially because she's, as far as I know, she's never written a book before. I know that she's dabbled in production and direction and stuff in the entertainment world, in terms of like TV shows and movies and whatnot, but I don't think she's ever written a book. So for this to be her first book and for it to be a memoir, which I feel like it can be a little bit harder because you're telling some of your deepest and darkest memories and experiences out to the world, I mean, it can be really overwhelming and it can be daunting. And she executed so well, so like, amazing. I'm not gonna give a rating for this book, or actually any memoir for that matter of fact. I feel like in the past, when I was younger, I wanted to rate every single book that I read, no matter what category it fell in. I just no longer feel comfortable doing that at this big age. I just feel like, especially for memoirs, like, to put a number on someone's life experience, like, I'm not God, I'm not a higher entity, like, that's not my position to tell you that your life's experience was a 2 out of 5 stars. Like, that's just not, your experience is your experience. I just don't want to subject people's experiences to a numerical rating. I just feel like that's kind of icky, you know what I mean? So my third book that I actually started today and finished today was Fruit Punch by Kendra Allen. This is on the smaller side of the books. It was a very easy read. It is another memoir, and it is a bit on the heavier side. Again, I'm gonna put trigger warnings on the screen in case you were interested in reading it. I have a bunch of different things to comment on. For one, I really liked her writing style. It was super personable. It didn't feel like she was writing a book. It didn't feel like she was typing it on a computer or writing it on a piece of paper with the intention of it being published. It felt like she was talking to a friend. It felt like she was talking directly to me, telling me about her life experiences. And because the book felt more like a conversation, I feel like that's one of the reasons why it was much easier to read. And then also, she does, like, her chapters don't really follow like the standard format of a regular novel or a memoir, or really any book in general. She kind of plays around with the formatting in terms of like short poem-like stances and then like full chapters and breaking up paragraphs different ways and stuff, and I really enjoyed that. I felt like it showed who she is as a person through her writing skills as well. And lastly, I really liked about the themes that she talked about, the lens of the Black family. I don't want to go too much into it because if you guys are interested in reading this on your own accord, I don't want to reveal too much. I want you guys to experience it for yourselves. But for example, just talking about like experiencing trauma within the Black family and how other members experience it differently. Not only experience it differently, but tell you how to experience it differently. The idea of perseverance and how like you need to push through things in order to show that you're strong. Like, if bad things happen to you, then you have no choice but to push forward. And if you don't, then you're kind of seen in a negative light. Seeing different dynamics between her parents, different things in her early childhood that carried on and affected her into her life. I will say also, I don't know if she illustrated this cover herself or if she simply found an illustrator and hired them to make this cover, but this cover aligns with a lot of her experiences and a lot of what she talks about in this book. And if you decide to read it, you'll understand why I say that. Right, yeah, I'm just gonna read the last sentence, and I feel like of the summary, and I feel like this sums it up perfectly. Inflected by a powerful sense of place and touched by poetry, Fruit Punch is a stunning achievement. A memoir born of love and endurance, fight or flight, and what it means to be a witness from a blisteringly honest and observant perspective. Like, that just captures it completely. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I only read 3 books this month. I'm not mad at it. I'm starting back up. Like I said, 60 book goal for this year, and we have 3 down. February is Black History Month, so of course you know I'm reading Black authors only. You should be reading Black authors year round to begin with, okay? And if you're not...
Side eye. Side eye!
But for February, we're making sure that we are the main focus. We are the star of the show. So I already have a few books on my shelf that I know that I want to read, and then in addition I just ordered 2 books that I'm really excited to read and have been wanting to read, and in light of me wanting to make sure I hit this goal, I decided to order them. So those books should be coming shortly, and then they'll be in February's reading wrap up. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys the direction I'm going in for February, an idea of what my TBR list might look like. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a TikTok about it. I don't know. But yeah, the video is going to be a little bit short, but I think that's okay. I know this is a little bit different than the videos that I have up now, but I just wanted to try something different. And honestly, like, I really am also setting into the idea of, like, just do what you love. You just need to make stuff like no one's watching. Make stuff for you. Do what you enjoy. Don't fit yourself into some box, some imaginary box. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just do what you enjoy. And everything that's supposed to come naturally will come. If you've made it to the end of the video, or if you just watched the video at all, thank you so much for tuning in. I value each and every single one of you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!